Hello, hello, welcome to Cooking with Ronald, the Indo cooking guy. I am going to make soto ayam for you guys today, which is an Indonesian chicken soup, basically. So we're going to need chicken stock. I have two because I'm going to feed my whole family with this. If you're alone, then one is more than enough. For this amount, you need 3 onions. So for the half amount, 1 onion, I guess, two, depending on your favorite flavor of onions. Ginger, ginger. Lemongrass, if you have it fresh. You can also buy. You can also get a jar like this, which is called like lemongrass, but um, like stuff in a package is also fine. Some laos is fresh. It's malanga. You can also get it in powder form. It's also fine. And some garlic, lemon. Um, yeah, and kunyit or curcuma. I think it has multiple names, but it's basically yellow mostly. That's the main point of it. There's not much flavor. So if you miss this, it's a different color, but you won't miss the flavor. You need some soy sauce. I got Chinese or I think it's Chinese soy sauce. It has to be salty soy sauce. Uh, a big pot in my case because big soup. Cutting utensils, 1 or 2 knives, probably 1 or 2 boards because you're going to cut chicken, the chicken. So fat means flavor. So I always get chicken breast, not chicken breast, chicken thigh, which is the fatty part of the chicken. You can also get chicken breast, which is leaner, but yeah, flavor and fat are the same. So let's start. Um, we can start by cutting the chicken, I guess. So always wash your hands after cutting chicken and all the things you use. So you want blocks in a decent size so that you can eat them in the soup because this is for soup. So uh, small blocks. So they don't have to be tiny and they don't have to be equal because you can keep the soup on for as long as you like and everything will be cooked. Actually, the soup will taste better tomorrow if you leave it overnight with all the in it. Um, then it will taste better. So if you have normal chicken soup with vegetables in it, that's fine too. But for soto ayam, you put vegetables in it boiling. We put them in at the last moment. And people actually put just cut vegetables on the table, like bean sprouts and some spring onions, uh, maybe some mushrooms, whatever you're fancy, because then they're still nice and fresh and there's still bite to them. Otherwise, everything is soggy and one big overcooked set of vegetables. And we don't like that, but it's still fine. My wife always my wife always puts all the vegetables in before because well she's Dutch and she's not around. I can say this without her. So I cut the chicken. Let me just put that aside for now. Wash your hands. So. Okay, onions. Cut the onions. So you want them small, but you don't want pieces of onion in your. You want them to basically disappear almost. So I'm not sure if you know how to cut an onion small, but if you don't know, you can just cut first for like 90% of it. You cut stripes in it. If you leave the last part intact here, then it will fall apart. It will still be one hole. Then if you have stripes, you cut like this once. And now if you cut, then you got tiny pieces. And the last part is intact. You can do it the old-fashioned way, just cut it in stripes and just make it smaller. Not sure if this is the official way, but this is how I do it. The planning was that my daughter would be here to help me, but she's on a picnic now in the garden, so her attention span wasn't long enough to wait for the street to start. So, for those who've been shopping and trying to find all the herbs and spices, you've noticed that everything, all these things are in supermarkets under the Indonesian names, and all grouped together with Indonesian stuff. So that's because of our colonial past. Indonesia was our colony for hundreds of years, 100 years, I don't know, long enough. So there are lots of Dutch words in the Indonesian language, like the word for lawyer is Dutch, and we have also some Indonesian words. Durak, which is somebody who's like a kid that's not nice, is an durake, that's Indonesian. So there are some more words. I wrote them down, but I forgot them obviously. But also in the Navy, the Dutch Navy, it's filled with Indonesian food and Indonesian practices, because a big part of the Dutch Navy in the Golden Age was stationed in Indonesia. So this is why there is so much Indonesian culture in the Netherlands. Yeah. Also, it's a nice day, so I recommend doing this with a beer. You know, when I was young, I used to work in a snack bar, and I was always cutting onions, but I was cutting like boxes of onions, because Dutch people eat onions on top of their frikandel speciaal. And I was always, since I was a young kid, I was always in charge. It was my task to cut the onions, so I was cutting like millions and millions of onions. Oh fuck, I forgot to. Okay, onion is cut. So let's see. This is actually enough preparation. So officially, you don't cut the onion, but you mash it together in a chobek, which is I honestly don't know the Dutch or the English word for this. We call it a chobek, but it's yeah, you mash stuff together. But I'm assuming nobody has this. So we can switch to this camera now. So you heat the pot, Put in a bit of oil, and you put in the chicken. So, oh, I forgot this. If you have fresh ones, mash them with something heavy so that they will give the flavor better. A hammer or a book or your head if you're having a bad day. Don't mind if the chicken sticks to the pot because it's soup, so it will boil loose later. Add the onions. Now, while this is cooking for a second, the chicken to brown a bit. If it's a bit brown and cooked, and the onions are nice, then you can add the soup. So you can make the chicken stock as it says on the jar, and on this jar it says that you add 3 amounts of water. This is done. Now you can add the celery. It's too big. Cut in half. So if you have fresh laos, also give it a bash. So if you have this thing, not sure if you can see this properly, but it's like a small grate, and it's for the ginger. It's perfect because it really fine grates the ginger, and you get like this nice ginger pulp, and this will give us the flavor immediately. If you don't have this, just cut it into small strips like this. That's fine too. It will also give off its flavor. But since I use this stuff a lot, I bought this thing. But it's a mess if you do it on the table, so do it in the pot. Oh, fuck. So how much ginger is it? I use a big block. I think the recipe says a toe, but the basic idea of all Indonesian food is that the recipe is an idea. It's not exact. It's never ever exact. It's always to your taste, how much you think is good. But I add a lot because it really The ginger and the lemon really are the most important flavors in soto ayam. The lemon, actually the lemon comes from also the lemon, but the lemongrass. If you have them, but it's also a bit harder to get by. You can also add jerkperut, which is lime tree leaves, and they also give a really nice lime flavor. I saw a trick on YouTube on another chef yesterday, which I'm going to try. I haven't done this before, so let's see how it goes. This is a garlic, big knife. You can mash it with your knife. Pretty neat trick. Okay, let's see. Kunyit. I think a teaspoon of this stuff. I always try to limit my use of kunyit because if this gets in your clothes, it's there forever. And I have children, and they get stuff on their clothes. So if I put too much of this stuff in the food, then everything will be yellow. Okay, lime, half a lime juice. You don't want the seeds in, so you can mash it, but always put your hand so that you mash, so you keep the seeds in, although this doesn't have seeds apparently. Okay, well that's it for the soup part, but there's another important part. I'm not sure if you're able to find it on short notice, but this bag of rice is lontong. It's originally you make this with banana leaf and you wrap the rice in a banana leaf, but we're not in the jungle right now, so plastic bag. This is a perforated plastic bag, so you cook this and then you put it in the fridge and then it becomes a block. I prepared this because, you know, that's a good idea. So this is how it comes out of the fridge after it's cooked. See, it's one big block of rice. It's sticky rice. It's mashed together due to the plastic bag. So this becomes cuttable. You can cut this into small blocks. So when you eat the soto ayam, you're gonna cut this into pieces, and you can put it in your soto when you're gonna eat it. So that's actually all the preparation you need. I'm gonna cook this because, yeah, I want to, because children. Okay, let me quickly clean up a bit here. So one thing I learned working in snack bar kitchens and small restaurant kitchens is always clean your workstation. That's the only way you can manage cooking multiple dishes. So, well, the soup is getting ready, and oh wait, I forgot one more ingredient, but you can add it later also. It's the soy sauce. You add I don't know, 2 teaspoons of this stuff. It's also to taste, and some people always add it later in when they're going to eat it to flavor it. I like it, some pepper. Good. So next up, more chicken, because we're going to make satay for the barbecue tomorrow. So the first step is just cutting the meat into small pieces, marinating it, and leaving it overnight. If you don't have a night because you want to barbecue today, it's a bit short notice, but I think it will be still okay. Uh, and the trick is for satay on the barbecue is you invite some family or some friends, and the first people to arrive. Some people are always a bit early, right? Most people are usually late at the barbecue. Some people are early. If you're early and there's Indonesian food, then you're going to be asked to put the skewers on the meat because that's the most part of the work. It's like cutting this, putting it in the bucket, adding some stuff, easy. But putting all the skewers in, like your hands get dirty with the marinade, you're already hungry and you're touching all the chicken all the time, so you have to wash your hands. And there's soy sauce, so everything gets black. And if you're bad at it, then all your clothes will get dirty. So that's the hard part, and that's why you invite friends. So, something to put the chicken in, a knife, and the chicken. So, the block size. Don't make the blocks too big. You want to make them um, yeah, it's hard to see, but about this size, a bit thin, because thin strips on the satay are done quickly. You don't want them to have to stay on the barbecue long, because then the outside will get burned and the inside will be hopefully done, but maybe not well done. So thin, thin pieces of chicken means also more satay. So you want thin pieces of chicken to put on the skewers, which also means it's going to be more work to skewer everything. So again, invite family and friends. Okay, that's a good. So Joep asks if you can also make a vegetarian version of this dish. Um, I guess you could use um, what's that vegetarian stuff people eat? The white blocks. I don't know, tofu, or there's another one. It has more flavor. I always put it in some tempeh. Tempeh is like tofu, but it's different. It's made out of some other bean, I think. I don't know exactly what it's made of. If you think about it too long, it looks disgusting, but it has much more flavor than tofu. So I guess you could make this with tempeh, but then you have to probably add more spices because those things don't have enough flavor by themselves. So I wouldn't go for this recipe because lemon. This is basically lemon and soy sauce and chicken. But there are satay recipes for pork. Those have much more spices in. I think those would be more suited for tempeh. But I guess, yeah, I don't know. I've never tried vegetarian cooking, basically. There's one vegetarian dish I make, but it's not intended like a vegetarian dish. It's just a dish. It's sambal goreng tempeh, which is tempeh cut into small blocks. You fry them, then you put them in basically a mix of a lot of spices and lots of sambal. And if you leave out the shrimp paste, it's vegetarian. If you don't tell anybody there's shrimp paste in it, it's almost vegetarian. And if you have a bad day, then the vegetarian will ask for the recipe, and then they will bitch, and then it will be a very awkward night like I had a while back. But in general, the shrimp paste is the only thing that's made out of an animal. But are shrimp really animals? I mean, come on, it doesn't count. I'm keen to see how many people I lost on the stream right now. Oh. So for skewers, if you're rich and you want to waste money, you can use lemongrass as skewers. But yeah, like I said, I mean, it's a lot of money to buy so many lemongrass pieces. The normal bamboo skewers you find in the supermarket are fine. If you do this a lot, then it's worth buying metal skewers. And if you're Turkish, you have these big sword-like skewers. I guess that will be fine too. I have them somewhere in the basement because I made kebabs a while back. But find them a bit difficult to use. I don't know. Maybe it's I haven't tried enough. It would be fun if we had a Turkish person here on the channel next time to show me how to make kebabs. So, chicken. And again, wash your hands. So, if this whole COVID-19 crisis has taught me one thing, it is how to wash my hands. I realized I knew that, just this is not good enough, but I've been told so many times by so many people how to wash my hands that somehow it got stuck now, and now I'm doing it correctly, I realized. But, so that's the only takeaway I have from this so far. Okay, next up, add stuff to this. So, ketchup, this is the big jar. This is sweet, it's syrupy. I'll show you. See, it comes out and it's more like a syrup. I'm not sure if you can see it with this light, but it's thick. It stays on my finger. The kids love this stuff because it's I guess it's like a bit of Indonesian version of appelstroop. I don't know how to translate appelstroop, but it's like appelstroop-ish, but made out of different stuff, I guess. Okay, the soy sauce. So it's not in the recipe, but I'm going to add a bit of sambal. I know most of you will also add this. I'm going to be very delicate with this because this is the homemade stuff from the Chinese shop, and it's really, really heavy. And then my kids will eat the satay. So yeah, which would be okay if I didn't have enough, but there's not going to be there's going to be more than enough food, and the satay is what they look forward to. So I tried to make this as pleasant for them as possible. So you need the juice of. I would go for one lime. It doesn't hurt to put more in it. The lime flavor for me is the most interesting part of this, combined with the soy sauce. So it's one full lime is probably enough. So go straight into the jar. Just add a bunch of this stuff, and don't be cheap. Just a bunch.
Hallo papa.
Hallo.
Het was leuk. Mag ik nu weer meehelpen?
Papa is bijna klaar, schat.
Mag ik nog eventjes meehelpen dan?
Jij mag even meehelpen. Pak maar een lepel of een vork. Mag je roeren.
Papa, weet je, ik mag weer met deze hand
Handen wassen. Handen wassen. So it's going to be like a teaspoon of this stuff.
Ik heb mijn handen gewast.
Oké.
Wow, wat is dat?
Hier is een spoon. Ja, maar lepelen. Roeren.
Oh, wat maken we?
Saté.
Yummy! Waarom maken we dat eigenlijk?
Voor de tv. Voor de mensen thuis.
Maar wie gaat dat opeten?
Jij.
Ik? Gaan wij toch opeten?
Ja.
Yay! Papa, gaan we barbecuen in de nacht?
Nee, we gaan morgen overdag barbecuen.
Maar vandaag is het toch lekker weer?
Ja, morgen wordt het nog lekkerder weer.
Morgen? Maar nu is het ook
nou moet ik heel even praten tegen de mensen. Even stil. So, as you see, we now have a nice marinated set of chicken. And I almost destroyed this laptop with this. But that's all. You just need to make sure there's enough marinade so that all the chicken is submerged. The lemon will, the point of the lemon in this, or any sour thing in marinade, is to basically it increases the speed of the rotting process, and which sounds terrible, but that will make it tender, because then the eiwitten, the proteins will slowly disintegrate, which makes it tender. For the stretch, it's one of those two. But basically, lemon makes food tender. Except for fish, in fish it works different. So this goes in the fridge for a day or less if you don't have that much time. So let's quickly taste our soup, see if it's good. And I think I'll volunteer to taste it.
Papa, ik zie iets erop.
I'm not sure if you can see this, but it has a nice yellow color. Smells good. Nou, Sophie. Proef eens even. Goed blazen. Warm.
Zit er
Proef maar.
kip in?
Ja.
Lekker.
Ja.
Goed hè? Best lekker. Wordt het voor vanavond?
Ja.
Als
So,
het nacht is?
that's it. at this point, if it's not good enough, then
En wat gaan we hiermee doen?
then you can add more spices to it. But sorry, my director told me something, but it didn't quite catch it there.
Papa, wat gaan we hiermee
Sorry.
doen?
So this is enough. The soup will get better over time. The ginger will give it flavor if you let this simmer for a while. You can also just turn it off and forget about it until tomorrow, and still all the spices and herbs will give off its flavor. Yeah, you can add some more lime if you like that to the soup. So tomorrow, if you put it in your bowl to eat it, then you cut this into pieces, and you put one of the pieces or two pieces in your bowl, and some bean sprouts, and spring onions, or whatever you got that you like in it. The soup is warm if you eat it, so then it will just be tiny bit cooked, but still nice and crunchy, which is what you want. And yeah, that's it. I mean, you can add more sambal to any food in Asia if you like it. For me, it's not necessary, but that's it. I'm not sure if we're gonna do a question section now.
Papa. Papa. Hey, Papa. Je hoeft net met stoppen aan praten.
Okay, so there are just some remarks, no questions. Thank you very much for viewing. Sophie, do you want to say something? Wil je nog iets zeggen tegen de mensen thuis? In het Engels? Wil je tot ziens zeggen?
Ja, goed.
Okay. Zeggen we daar in de camera, zeggen we goodbye. Goodbye.